President Trump's nominee Kash Patel swearing in as FBI director happened just moments ago. The oath was administered by new Attorney General Pam Bondi. As we reported Thursday, in a 51-49 vote, Patel was approved to lead the Bureau for a 10-year term. Now, Democrats expressed outrage about Patel before and after the controversial vote.
I think it's a very dangerous time for our country. This is not somebody who has respected the FBI's role, respected security and protections that the FBI provides.
Founder of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, posted a video on X indicating the reason Senator Adam Schiff of California may be particularly upset.
Adam Schiff led the prosecution of the impeachment trial in the Senate of President Donald Trump. Talk about someone who is conflicted out of the game because he was part of the hoax that brought Charmella in, manufactured that false accusation, and then peddled it out to the world, and he continued, not surprising, he's lied about almost everything in his life, but now he lied just to set up a presidential impeachment.
President Trump, the aforementioned Attorney General Pam Bondi, and House Speaker Mike Johnson all celebrated Patel's nomination. And less than an hour ago, new Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick was sworn in by Vice President J.D. Vance in the Oval Office. And the expected Internal Revenue Service's layoffs have begun. Newsmax reports an executive told staffers Thursday about 6,000 employees would be fired, eliminating 6% of the agency's workforce. The layoffs at the IRS reportedly target workers at the agency who were hired as part of an expansion under former President Joe Biden. The agency now employs roughly 100,000 people, up from 80,000 people when Biden took office. Workers being cut are in their probationary period, which is the first 3 years they are on the job. On Thursday, WESH2 News out of Central Florida reported on some 100 layoffs between Orlando, Daytona, Lakeland, and Melbourne.
Today just happens to be D-Day for the IRS across the nation for our probationary employees.
That was the National Treasury Employee Union President George Carpenter, who says he will fight the terminations. Greg?
The Department of Government Efficiency has uncovered many unexplainable expenditures within the United States Agency for International Development. The Daily Caller reported Wednesday that Max Primorak, USAID's acting chief operating officer and regulatory reform officer during President Trump's first term, said the left was trying to export their radical agenda and create the rest of the world in their radical image. Primorak testified before Congress earlier this month.
USAID failed to properly manage the billions of dollars entrusted to it. This committee discovered that USAID partners were charging 50% or more for overhead. A government audit showed that USAID could not account for overhead charges concerning $142 billion worth of awards. These funds proved a boon for the progressive-dominated foreign aid industry.
Dr. Mark Moyer, who was appointed to the agency in 2018 during Trump's first term, told the Daily Caller that USAID career staffers utilize components of the organization to enrich themselves and their friends. But when he attempted to blow the whistle on them, he was terminated. Joining us now is Convention of States Action President, Victory News contributor Mark Meckler. Mark, welcome to Victory News.
Thanks. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Listen to one of the surprising ways that USAID spent its $40 billion taxpayer dollars. Here it is.
According to USAID, quote, in 2023, the agency funded training and support for 6,200 journalists, assisted 707 non-state news outlets, and supported 279 media sector civil society organizations.
So what does getting Western media to say the same thing have to do with funding foreign aid?
It doesn't have anything to do with it, except it's all of a piece. One thing I saw that gentleman testifying before Congress saying that they had mismanaged their funds. They didn't mismanage at all. This is exactly what they intended to do, which is to undermine anything that is even slightly right of center in the United States of America, to create and to foster a particular political agenda. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they do it consistently.
That's probably why I didn't get a check. Senator Marco Rubio talked to independent journalist Catherine Herridge about the initial meeting with Russia on ending the war in Ukraine and how Zelensky has not helped get things started. Here she is.
But Ukraine is on another continent. It doesn't directly impact the daily lives of Americans. We care about it because it has implications for our allies and ultimately for the world. there should be some level of gratitude here about this. And when you don't see it and you see him out there accusing the president of living in a world of disinformation, that's very counterproductive.
It makes me wonder, is Zelensky trying to do a two-faced hustle on Donald Trump and the United States?
Yeah, I think he is, and I think he's been out hustling the president of the United States for a long time in the person of Joe Biden, who was pretty much non-existent. And he thinks he's going to do that with Donald Trump. He's been very successful at it with Biden, so maybe he thinks that's going to continue, but I think the game's changed, and he's going to figure that out very quickly. Okay,
the mayor of Los Angeles, she announced an investigation into why her staff, she's investigating herself. Why is her staff investigating allowing her to travel abroad during fire season? Besieged Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles, well, she fired the fire chief today. Recently, commentator Bill Maher, he addressed Chief Crowley's abilities this way.
Crowley's official bio says Chief Crowley leads a diverse department, creating, supporting, and promoting a culture that values diversity, inclusion, and equity while striving to meet and exceed the expectations of the communities. Well, you didn't exceed my expectations, which was that the whole city wouldn't burn down.
Mark, is firing Chief Crowley the answer for accountability to the wildfires in L.A., or is it a diversion from the responsibility of Mayor Bass herself?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. In other words, she's just a cog in a giant DEI machine that is Los Angeles. There is no accountability. They need to be swept out from bottom to top. I mean, the mayor saying that, her staff is to blame for her being overseas. She promised, by the way, as part of her campaign that she wouldn't go to Africa. So here she was in Africa, city burns down, and now she wants to blame somebody else.
All right, let's go to the news of the hour. Kash Patel is now the director of the FBI. What changes do you expect in that agency with Patel at the helm during this administration? Mark?
I'm sorry for laughing, but this got to be my favorite appointment. I'm actually picturing Kash Patel walking into the office right now and beginning to literally physically kick desks over. Reminds me when Elon Musk came in and took over Twitter and he walked in carrying a kitchen sink. That's what Patel's going to do. He's going to go in, he's going to go in hard, and I think he's going to go deep and root out corruption. I think it's going to be metaphorically pretty bloody.
Does it mean anything that who swore him in?
I do think it means something. Look, a lot of people have been sworn in by Justice Thomas. Having Bondi swear him in shows that they are linked arm in arm in cleaning the corruption out at the Department of Justice, and that starts at the FBI.
All right, warm up the popcorn. Here we go. Mark, thank you so much. We'll be back to you.